So I've been having a really hard time lately. I have gained about between 8 and 15 pounds. I keep going up and down between 155 and 163, and I'm just having the hardest time. So today I wanted to talk about it, why I think it's happening, what I'm doing about it, and all that jazz. You know, as a content creator, I think it's really important to be completely transparent with you. I'm only human and I run into problems too. I am definitely not perfect. So I hope that, perhaps you'll get something out of this if you've been stuck or gaining weight. And yeah, it's just been incredibly frustrating, and I just need to get this off my chest. But before we get into all of that fun stuff, I need to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Element Electrolytes. I've been using them since the beginning of carnivore. I've now been on carnivore for 2.5 years, and I still use them several times per week. They just came out with a new flavor, actually. Starting May 20th, it will be available. It is the lemonade salt. And man, this stuff just takes me back to being a kid. When I was a kid, I would do, lemonade stands and all that stuff. And I just love that tart, fresh, ice cold, lemony taste in summer. So I put one of these packets into 16 ounces of water with a lot of ice, stirred it up, and I just took a sip, and it just transformed me back to being a kid. It's really, really good. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. That's the standard mix of all Element electrolytes, and 1 gram of carbs. So sweetened with stevia. Most people can handle a little bit of sugar substitute in the form of stevia, so I think it's a win if you really like lemonade. Right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. So you can head over to the link in the description. It's drinkelement.com/Jenny Mitich. That's DRINKLMNT.com/Jenny Mitich, and get your free sample pack with any order today. So I think the vast majority of what's going on is related to my Hashimoto's hypothyroid. I was diagnosed formally in July of last year, so it's been almost a year, 10 months now, and we've been really working on it since October. I had a bunch of blood work, started formally working with Dr. Amy Horniman and her team, and we got me on some T3 medications starting in October. And it has been a bit helpful. I'm not gonna say I'm as tired as I was, but I'm definitely not to where I need to be yet. I'm still getting inflamed very, very easily. Like if I eat dairy, I get totally inflamed. Like right now I'm a little bit puffy because I had some dairy last week. I am still so tired. I wake up every morning just feeling like I haven't rested at all, and that's after, sleeping for 8 hours. And I'm really working on dialing in the sleep. I've been really working on the sunlight piece, trying not to wear my sunglasses as much. Getting out and watching the sun rise to kind of reset my circadian rhythm and all this stuff. But yeah, it's been rough. So that I think is the main thing that's going on. In addition to starting the T3 medication, we also started doing testosterone, bioidentical testosterone replacement, because my testosterone was really low. So if you don't know, females do have testosterone, just at a much lower level than males. And mine was at a 20, and it's supposed to be like between 80 and 100. So we started replacing it. And that was going really well. I'd gotten my levels up to 42, and then we decided to kind of ramp that up a little bit and do more. But as I increased the amount of testosterone I was taking, my appetite just exploded. I was so hungry, and that is a common side effect of using testosterone. Another thing that kind of went hand in hand was an increase in my average glucose levels, where before I was in the 80s, the low 80s, I was in the 90s and low 100s. So that was a bit concerning to me. But the appetite was really the big deal, because I could just eat and eat and eat and eat. And if you eat way too much food, you're gonna gain weight. It's inevitable. All of that's going on. Well, we had a lot of travel going on. We went down to Florida in January, February, and March. We also went to Greenville, South Carolina. And during all of that travel, I was also experimenting with starting to include a little bit of carbohydrate in the form of salads and fruit, because a lot of thyroid practitioners say you need to have some carbohydrates for your thyroid to work properly. I didn't know at that time if I believed that or not, but I wanted to test it out. I do a lot of N-of-1 experiments here on this channel. So I started doing 2 salads per week while we were in Greenville, and I started adding in a little bit of fruit, but pairing that with the increase in my appetite, I just couldn't moderate. I could not moderate. If there was like a clam shell of raspberries in the house, which normally I don't eat, I just don't eat them for my kids, it was getting insane. So all of those things coalesced and I ended up gaining like 10 pounds. I think at my lowest that I've gotten in January was like 147. Currently, I'm at like 161, but I kind of went up from like 150 to 160. So that was concerning. I determined through this experiment of including, salads and fruit and stuff like that, it did not help my thyroid whatsoever. My numbers are still low, my T3, my free T3, which is the one we're concerned with, and I didn't feel any better. I didn't feel any more energetic. In fact, I felt worse because I feel really good when I'm doing strict carnivore. Just getting, all of that plant material out of my diet is really helpful for me. I cut all of the junk out again and was just doing strict carnivore. Then we had a big project in Florida. I haven't quite revealed what that is yet, but we were down there for 6 weeks and it was a lot of work. And during that time, I did some sardine fasting. I was able to get down to like, 156, I think, was the lowest I was able to get to. And then I started just eating regular carnivore again, but I was including dairy. My mother-in-law was cooking us dinner every night because we were just so busy. We were eating dinner at like 7 or 8 p.m. I was eating dairy, and eating that late for me, my glucose levels just were all over the place. Even eating carnivore foods, or even, sometimes we would include, peppers or something like that, kind of do a ketovore thing. It was just a mess. It was a total mess. So by the time I got home, just a few days ago, actually, I was up to 162 pounds again. Still have a bit of inflammation like around my eyes from the dairy and just feeling generally kind of blah. I've been sardine fasting since I got back, and that's been helpful. But I'm really frustrated and disappointed in this whole process. It's just kind of ridiculous that I can't have, a couple of pieces of cheese without feeling like crap. I look at food and I gain weight. I feel like, why is it so hard? Why is this so hard? It shouldn't be so hard. And it's not for everybody, but particularly for women, especially in your late 30s on, thyroid issues are very common. Very common. And for me, I had my kids really late and I had twins. So when you are pregnant, all of your not all of them, but a lot of your hormones, a lot of your extra vitamins and minerals and things like that go into growing that baby. First growing the placenta and then growing that baby. And I had 2 placentas and 2 babies to grow. So I feel like after I had them, that was my trigger. My body was just like, so exhausted from that process. And it just hasn't recovered. It just hasn't fully recovered. The fatigue is the biggest symptom for me, but the weight, it's so frustrating. I can't gain muscle. That was because of the low testosterone. I can't lose weight because of the thyroid stuff. So I'm very, very frustrated. I feel like I'm really doing everything right. I eat really clean. I exercise. I sleep. I do all of the sunlight stuff. I really try to moderate my stress. There's only so much we can do there. I'm kind of at a loss. So I just wanted to talk with you guys about it because I know there's a lot of you out there that are experiencing the same thing. My husband, for example, we just released a video about how hard it is for him to lose weight, even within the context of a ketogenic diet. He can only really lose the weight if he's also fasting. I've been doing the sardine fasting. For me, the thought of doing an extended water fast right now, I'm already so tired. The first 3 days of a water fast are hard already. So it's kind of like, I don't have the mental bandwidth to do that right now. I know like my husband has a hard time. Several people in my carnivore community have a really hard time with the weight loss. And I talk to people every day with it. So just wanted you to know that you're not alone. Happens to me too. We just did some more blood work for my thyroid yesterday. So we're gonna be checking, it was TSH, free T3, reverse T3, and the free T4. We're thinking we're probably going to be incorporating some T4, probably also upping the T3. The problem with thyroid meds is everybody's an individual and you have to work your way up slowly and figure it out through testing. So like I said, we've been doing this since October. It's May. And I'm still so tired. It's a lot. So that's the plan for now. I've also discovered a beef thyroid supplement from Ancestral Supplements that I'm going to be test driving. Apparently it's like one of their most popular supplements. It's very clean, grass-fed, grass-finished beef thyroid. So I don't know, that could be helpful. I mean, in the natural thyroid medications, it's desiccated animal thyroid. So in theory, it should be similar. It's just dependent on the concentration, the purity of it, and how much is actually getting into each capsule. But we'll see. We'll see if that's helpful. The carbs weren't helpful. I'm back to strict carnivore and, feeling better already that I've been doing that. So yeah, that's everything that's going on with me right now. So fun. Very exciting. I'm trying to do a little bit of research about maybe some other things that I can dial in or try. But if you have any suggestions out there, please let me know in the comments. I definitely could use the help. If there's anything I haven't thought of, which I'm sure there always is. What has worked for you with your thyroid issues? If you have them, just kind of like, I just really need all the help I can get right now. And again, thank you so much for watching my videos and for being in my community and for being so amazing. I have the very best viewers on the planet, so curious and just hungry to learn and open-minded, and I really love that. And I love that I can just sit down and turn on my camera and be completely vulnerable with you, and I know that I'm not going to get judgment from you. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be one or two people who are like, blah, you suck, blah. That's inevitable, but I'm saying like the good ones, the vast majority of my audience are so amazing. So thank you again. And I will have a couple videos in the coming weeks. One is going to be how to get back on the wagon after you've fallen off with high carb cheat meals. That video is coming up. And I have a few other things kind of in this same vein, and we're still gonna be monitoring the thyroid stuff. So I will definitely keep you in the loop as to what we are doing, because I hope in my journey I can help at least one of you out there. So thank you again for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.